Hello and welcome to another episode of Culture Vultures with me, Al Thomson. And today we've got a very special guest, very good friend of mine, great comedian, Rory Spence.
Hello.
Woo!
Woo.
Right, what a clap.
Oh, cool.
How are you doing?
I'm good, mate. Yourself?
Yeah, all right, getting there. In fact, I'm good. Aye, why am I start with aye? I am great. I am fantastic.
Yeah.
So today we're here to talk about Superman.
That's right.
I've noticed you've got a T-shirt
I do.
and the socks as well. Was that meant as well, or was
It
that?
was, yeah. I mean, I always wear odd socks.
You look like an odd
No.
socks man.
Not intentionally. It's not like a thing. I just I'm very disorganised.
I've-
But I did see the red and the blue in the drawer and thought, yeah, fuck
Aye,
it, we'll
that
do
works.
Yeah.
See, I always wear black. I don't know why this is how I'm starting, but I've always got black socks, right?
that.
But I've got ingrown toenails.
Right.
What? I don't know why I'm starting like this, but like one of them, it was only like one side of it. Have you ever had ingrown toenails? Or anything like that?
No, man.
So they
Sounds
put
horrible.
like once they cut it out, you know that they put like this agent on it that makes like nails don't grow at it anymore.
Right.
So my toenail grows at a weird angle,
Right.
so it grows up like that, and this one always pokes through and bursts on my socks.
Right. Bro.
There we go. I don't know why that's the way we're starting this.
You talk about socks.
So you're here to talk about socks then, aren't you?
I talk about socks,
So
yeah.
Superman, why Superman?
Why Superman? Good question. I've always been a big comic book nerd. Well, I was into like as a kid, like the cartoons and all that in the movies, and then as a teenager, I got really into reading comics. I've always been right into Superman. That's always been a favourite of mine. Because I think he's sort of always feel the need to sort of defend him a little bit, because you get that sort of he's boring, he's too powerful, he can do anything. But I think it's something really interesting to me about the idea of a guy who has all this power and chooses to use it for good, because that doesn't really happen in the real world. That's the most sort of fantastical thing about it, is this guy with so much power using it for good. Why? Like, there's so many people with power in the world who are just horrible or just selfish. And I find that just an interesting idea of this guy who, it's not about what he can do, it's about what he chooses to do.
That is a very good point, because my next bit was going to be, is he no boring?
Of course, I was expecting that question.
Because like the way, like obviously you've said for me to read some things, watch some things before we've done this and things like that. So I've got a kind of better perspective and I've got a better kind of understanding of everything. But for people that haven't, like, it does seem like, oh, I want to do this, right? You can do it. Like, he's got every superpower. He can fly. He can shoot laser. What else can he do? Because I'm bare bones.
Depends
with Superman.
when you look at Superman,
Right.
what he can do. There was a period in like the 60s where he could do pretty much whatever the writers wanted him to do at the time. But the basics are, he's really strong, he's really fast, he can fly, he's really smart, which is something people don't often think about, but he is also really smart. He's got heat vision, cold breath. He can freeze things with his breath.
Oh, right.
I think that's the main ones. I think that's all.
Aye, because that is as I'm saying. It did feel as if, you know, he stole Cyclops' power with the eyes and stuff like that, and then. But I suppose was he the first?
Sort of that power came later. Initially, that fast on a locomotive.
Oh, right.
Can leap tall buildings in a string bound, because he couldn't fly originally. He just could jump really far.
Oh, really?
That's why they leap tall buildings in a single bound. Is it?
Oh, right.
Is in that thing. But yeah, so yeah, he was essentially the first sort of modern, what we'd call a superhero. He's the reason the word superhero exists, because he was the sort of archetype at the time. There was like pulp heroes and stuff like that, guys who wore capes and would like fight criminals and stuff like that, but he was like, or like aliens with like special powers and stuff like that, but he was the first one that sort of combined all those things into a superhero, as we think of it.
Is he an alien?
He is an alien, yeah.
Right.
He is from the planet Krypton, but grew up in Kansas. because his Krypton was destroyed. His dad, who was like the best scientist
Marlon
on
Brando.
Krypton, Marlon Brando, that's right. Yep. He sent him in a rocket to Earth, where he was raised by the Kent family.
Oh, right. See, honestly, I know nothing. This is gonna. Cool. I want to know about.
Yeah.
No, that's why. Yeah. That's why I started this, to get people on to talk passionately about stuff they love, and then I can learn and I can hooraff it. Hooraff it. Does that make sense?
No, really. But
no.
If you hadn't addressed it, I wouldn't have thought about it.
So you're saying that he didn't. What's he got a cape for if he couldn't fly originally?
Well, what's he got a cape for anyway? Really, you think about it. Like, the cape's not really doing much. The cape was kind of, I guess, like if you think about those sort of as I said, the sort of pulp heroes, the guys like the Shadow or I can't think of any others now, but off the top of my head, but they would wear capes, and it was just a sort of like mysterious sort of thing for them, but it sort of just evolved into a sort of a superhero thing.
Right, okay.
I don't really know why he wears a cape. No. It was just a design choice, I guess. But it doesn't really do anything.
Aye. Once I asked that question, I did realise that it was pretty daft.
Well, it makes sense though, because it looks like a sort of aerodynamics thing, I guess. I see where you were coming from with the question.
Aye. Right. So, what would you say? I don't know. I don't want to kind of force your hand or anything like that, or try. But what's your favourite story involving Superman? What would you? Or you can have a few here. Don't worry.
Yeah. Well, the one of recent times, the one I told you to read.
Yeah.
Superman Up in the Sky, written by Tom King.
I got that on my phone because it was cheaper. I think it was on Kindle Unlimited.
Yeah.
And then every time I opened it, my phone shut down. So it was like that was my phone's kryptonite. Was this Superman? So I think I managed like about 5 pages, and to be honest with you, I didn't know where I was.
Right. Yeah. That's the thing about that. It's not kind of new reader accessible, so I wouldn't. I don't know why I told you to read that. It was just the first thing that came to my head. But it is that sums up everything I love about Superman,
right?
Because it's all about choices. Sort of give an overview of the story. What happens is it's quite a dark story as well. Foster, like this couple that have a few foster kids, are murdered. Some of the kids are murdered. And one wee girl is taken away. One wee girl survives and she's in the hospital. Batman goes to Superman. He's been investigating it. He says, "You need to go talk to this girl in the hospital." And she tells him that her sister, who was taken up in the sky.
This is heartbreaking.
Yeah.
I want to talk about socks again.
Like, honestly, like, this is, for people who don't know comics or whatever, or don't know Superman, like, I cried several times reading this comic. It is heart-wrenching and beautiful. It is amazing. But yeah, basically, and he has to decide. He has, like, no leads. The girl also says to him that he is her sister who was taken, is like loves him, he's her favourite, and he has to decide whether he goes into space to find this wee girl. He's got no leads. It could take months. He has to be away from Earth. Who knows what could happen to the people he loves or to Earth if he's not there to protect it. He has to decide whether to go get this one wee girl or stay there. And obviously he goes, because that's the story. But it's all about the choices he makes. And every issue, it's like a different scenario that he's forced to make a choice, and it's a different aspect of what makes him who he is. It's really, really well put, like well set up to show what is so great about this character.
So, does he have any flaws? He always seems like, from the outside kind of looking in, he seems like he's kind of like a perfect superhero, a perfect guy, perfect boyfriend, everything like that. Does he have flaws?
Not really.
No.
And usually I would hate that in a character, but I think we allow that one for Superman because he is Superman, if you know what I mean. Yeah. Like, we can have one. And it, like, obviously he makes mistakes and stuff like that, and stories and stuff. That's otherwise it wouldn't be that interesting. But he's a guy who's just always trying to do the right thing, no matter what, and he's good at it as well. So it's he does. That's an interesting point because as well, like the sort of stories, like I like other comics as well. Like I like Batman, but I think a lot of the time, things like Batman. Why I kind of sort of stopped watching Doctor Who at a point is because like they always sort of seem to win because they are who they are, and it's sort of just engineered in a way that it will just work out for them.
Right, aye.
But I feel like with Superman, there's a similar thing, but he can kind of back it up a bit more because he's got this sort of strong moral compass and the powers, and he just is this like pinnacle of humanity, despite not being human, which I think is great. I think that it works for that character.
Right, no flaws, right?
Yeah.
Aye. So,
and I mean, it's like I guess he is flawed in some ways. Like he can't be everywhere all the time, really, and that sort of. In some stories, you see that sort of playing at him a little bit. Like there's a few versions of his dad's death, which is quite impactful because he is something he couldn't do anything about. It's usually, obviously, there's been hundreds of iterations of this, but it's usually a heart attack, and he can't do anything about that. And that sort of like plays on his mind a little bit. It's like I've got all these powers in the world, then what good are they? You know.
Ah, right. That is quite interesting. Because, there's nothing we can do about it.
Yeah.
Aye. That's so. You did mention Batman as well. Obviously, he's got his villains, like probably the kind of arguably best kind of group of villains. In comic books. But I know Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
That's it.
Right. So the other big one, the sort of second biggest, would be Zod, General Zod.
Oh, is that the bit in Family Guy where they put the three guys in the and the flies away in the triangle thing and he flies into space?
Superman 2. It's a bit of the start of Superman, the movie. So he's another Kryptonian that was sent into this like other dimension to be imprisoned and then gets out, comes back. So he's kind of like power-wise on a level with Superman.
Oh, right.
But yeah, there's loads of great villains. There's Parasite, who I really like. He's one of my favourites. Who is a guy that sort of got turned into a sort of monster that absorbs energy.
Right.
So he can basically, like, if he touches Superman, he can wipe him out. Like, he's sort of a tragic figure as well because he doesn't want this. He's just got this hunger for energy.
Ah, right.
And he's probably one of my favourite villains. I love Lex Luthor as well. He's a really interesting character of just a guy who is like a billionaire who just hates Superman because he's jealous of him. It's just like that's what it comes down to.
Is Lex Luthor just a guy?
Yeah, he's just a guy. Yeah, he's an incredibly smart guy.
Aye.
He's very strong and stuff as well. Like he works out. He's like sort of sees himself as the sort of peak human. Well, it's like sort of similar to Batman in a way. He's like an evil Batman,
right?
But yeah, he's sort of like he sees himself. He's very arrogant obviously as well, and he sees himself as like the peak of humanity, and he sees Superman as sort of a threat to that.
Because I always thought he was like a Kryptonian.
No,
as well.
Yeah,
was that what have I said that right?
Yeah.
I'm learning. So there is what I did say that I only really knew Lex Luthor, but I watched a TV show called Comic Book Men. Don't know if you've seen it.
No,
where it's Kevin Smith.
Oh yeah.
Aye.
I've heard of it.
And they were talking about a guy called Mr. Mixelplex.
Yeah, he's a great one as well. Yeah,
and the only way that you can defeat him is by getting him to say his own name backwards.
Yeah.
Does that work often? That sounds.
He's a sort of interesting. Yeah, he's a. Well, it works sort of every time. He works out a way to do it every time. But well, sometimes it comes to a sort of deal with him because he's kind of not. He's not like evil or anything. He's just like he's from like another dimension, and he can manipulate things in Superman's or like the real world
Yeah.
in the comics. And he can kind of, and he just sort of like sees it as a sort of playground. He just likes messing with Superman,
Right.
Because it's funny. So he's like, he just causes chaos.
Is he a wee kind of imp man?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Okay.
He's got a wee hat.
Aye.
Yeah, he just finds it fun to annoy Superman. So it's not like, it's usually not like a huge. Sometimes he is. Sometimes he like.
So is he like the Jack Trainer of Superman? Yeah,
So,
pretty
yeah,
much.
yeah, that's it exactly.
So does MD ever say his name backwards or get him to say his name?
Yeah. So
How does that? I'm confused by this. This is through me.
I can't. Yeah, it's been a while since I've read it in
sorry,
a minute,
yeah.
but there is like phonetically, it's like his name backwards. It sounds like words. So if you can get him to say those words, then that works. Yeah,
That's it. Just,
there's a few of those characters from that dimension as well. Like there's Batmite as well, who's like someone for like a wee imp guy who's obsessed with Batman. He dresses like Batman and he like appears to Batman and just like annoys Batman. But not like in an evil way, like he's just obsessed with Batman.
what does he got? Untying his shoes and stuff like that?
Pretty much. Well, like he can change reality.
Oh,
it's
right, okay.
like a bit further than tiny shoes to go.
Aye, fair enough. So there's been loads of people that have played Superman.
Yeah.
Who's your man?
Christopher Reeve.
Aye.
Incredible in those movies. I love those movies. Henry Cavill's great. I don't love those movies, but I think Henry Cavill's really good as the character. I really like him. But yeah, Christopher Reeve, I think. You've seen
I watched
the first one?
I watched the first one in preparation for this, and then that was a while ago. So
Yeah.
but I did enjoy it.
Yeah. So there's a scene in that I think is one of the best bits of acting in a superhero movie. Where just after Superman like sort of does the interview with Lois Lane, he takes her flying and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Clark Kent comes to her door, who is Superman, if for
Spoiler
people
alert.
listening who don't know that. And he's like in a suit because they're meant to be going out.
Yeah.
And he's come to the door and he's sort of this bumbling character he sort of puts on. And she goes into another room and he thinks he wants to tell her he's Superman. He straightens up and his voice deepens. He takes his glasses off and he says, "Lois, I have something to tell you." And she walks back in the room and he bottles and he puts his glasses in and he hunches over and he starts stammering and his voice goes higher. And it's like two different people.
Yeah.
You just watch him transform. And I think, no one's done that, playing him as well as that. The separation between Clark Kent and Superman is incredible. I think it's...
But when Henry Cavill plays him as Superman, does he do the kind of bumbling?
No, he doesn't.
I didn't think that would work. No,
he doesn't. He just looks as if he doesn't even hunch over, and he's just this 6'3" guy who looks like Superman.
See, there is a thing as well where it's just like all he's got that Superman doesn't have is glasses.
Yeah.
Do you think you'd be able to recognise him?
Well, as I said, with Christopher Reeve, I don't think, like the way he does it. If he could do that, then no, probably not. And the idea a lot of the time is he is like disguising himself through how he acts and stuff like that, and he's this sort of, he plays this guy who no one would look twice at, right, and nobody would think about, because he's this sort of like fairly insignificant guy. He's like, and there's artists who are really good at drawing this as well. Like Frank Whiteley, Glasgow artist, did All-Star Superman. There's a diagram in the back of the deluxe edition of diagram, like sketches in the back of where he shows the difference. And Superman is like hunched over, and it's kind of fat because he's like this big muscle mass, but he's like hunched over in a way, and his suit's a bit baggy, and it looks like he's like maybe like 3 inches shorter and like looks fat, and and it shows you there's like a sort of cross section where you see like how his spine is and stuff like that, and it's really good, like just to show that it is the same. He's the same proportions, but the way he's carrying himself is different, that you wouldn't recognise him.
That is crazy, man. There's even people that can draw.
Yeah,
They're really just
yeah.
Just
He's amazing. Frank Whiteley, I love.
So I was expecting you to say that you would recognise, because I would, right? Well, I think I would, until I saw this picture. Do you know who that is?
Yeah, I've seen this.
How crazy is
yeah,
that?
Zooey Deschanel.
Zooey Deschanel.
Yeah,
Except she's not got her fringe, so she looks nothing like Zooey Deschanel.
yeah,
And then that kind of thought, you know, it probably could get away with it then.
Yeah.
Me.
Yeah.
But, so talking about the artists, I don't know if you've seen. I don't know the guy's name, but it's like known as like the worst Superman drawing of all time, where he's got the massive chest.
yeah. That is what's his name? Proper 90s guy who created Deadpool and stuff like that.
Sorry, I've put you on the spot.
That's annoying me. Yes, I have seen that.
But that's his style as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just massive chest.
Yeah, yeah. He can't draw feet. If you ever look at feet, they're terrible. They're like the wrong size always, and just like odd looking.
Aye.
It's annoying me. I can't remember his name. But yeah, he's not a great artist.
No. But it's like, how do you get a job like that?
Yeah.
And how do you keep the job?
Yeah.
And enough
I
and
know.
do well enough.
He was good at like sort of selling himself. Like he was in a Levi's advert and stuff like that.
Oh, right.
Like drawing comics and stuff like that. And talking about, referred to himself once as the Michael Jordan of comics. Interesting guy.
Have a gambling addiction by any chance?
Yeah, probably.
So the only kind of thing that I really remember seeing about Superman growing up was Superman and Lois.
Oh yeah,
The thing on the telly with
Dean Cain.
Dean Cain
Yeah,
and Terry
Hatcher.
Aye.
Yeah.
That is the only thing that I really remember seeing. I mean, I liked it, but at the same time, it didn't kind of grab my attention. I thought, did you?
Yeah, I never got into that one myself.
It was more of romance, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Really.
The series recently called Superman and Lois. I only watched the first season, I think, but I'm meaning to go back to it. That's really good. And the guy who plays Superman in that, Tyler or something, he's really good. He doesn't really look like he's not as big as Henry Cavill or anything like that, but he plays the character really well.
Aye.
That's a really good series.
Aye.
But yeah, but that growing up, so you never watched like the Justice League cartoon or anything like that? Or?
No.
No.
Well, it was always kind of X-Men and
Yeah.
Spider-Man and
Yeah,
stuff.
see, I
like
loved
that.
them as well.
Aye.
But
I didn't realise it was mainly Marvel.
Yeah.
Until, like,
yeah.
But I always thought like DC was always better at like the kind of adult stories. Like they always kind of seemed more grown up. So I think like Marvel and stuff was just kind of catered for kids, which is
Yeah. Although that X-Men series did a lot of the sort of heavier hitting stuff. Getting an X-Men another time. But the Justice League was a bit more sort of fun. Like it was the same universe as the Batman animated series,
right?
But it was sort of less of that, the darkness that comes with that. And there was a Superman animated series as well, but I really liked the Justice League.
Oh, was there a Superman one as well?
Yeah.
I mean that makes sense. There was also a Superman game. Was it for the N64?
Yeah.
Where you just flew through rings.
Yeah.
That was the full game.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I think that was, yeah. Superman's never translated to video games very well.
Really, hasn't he?
Other than like Injustice, which is
the
fighting game. Yeah, which I liked, but yeah, that was
Aye.
It's been some pretty terrible Superman games.
So speaking of games and stuff as well, so I don't know if my wife's known you longer or I have.
No, I think you have.
Have I just pipped it, have I?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
With ENB's Twitch channel. So like mostly with games and stuff like that. Have you ever thought about streaming yourself? Or?
I have done.
You have done.
I streamed a wee bit. I just didn't grab me.
I'm the
doing
same.
I streamed for a couple months, but I was just like I was putting more into it than I was getting out of it, and I was just it was during lockdown as well. The first time I tried it, and then I tried it again a bit later. But yeah, I just couldn't do it. It's that like keeping energy up for that amount of time, especially if the chat's quiet and stuff like that. It's like it's hard going.
Having to talk all the time.
Yeah,
is I know this. saying it the new, but
Yeah, but this is a conversation.
Aye,
It's not
aye.
sitting in a room yourself,
Aye,
like just talking while playing a video game.
aye, because I
weird.
tried to do that, like just, there's something in the game, I'll keep talking about that, and it's like, nobody's watching me.
Yeah.
I mean, what am I doing this for? I think it is more difficult than people get credit for.
Yeah.
Like, because EMB's got a great community and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Is he still doing it? Is he
Occasionally, yeah.
pops in and out now?
Occasionally.
But I think it's just things like that. I think people like that during lockdown kind of saved a lot of people. Cause I think, like,
that's when I got into it. It was,
Mhm.
when I watched it.
because as I say, my wife was really into it,
Uh-huh.
and she's obviously followed on to other people that were
Yeah.
streaming at the time and stuff like that. I think it is really underrated for like something you can just put on in the background and feel as if you're surrounded by two screaming Waynes all the time, which is.
I was I got into it when I was furloughed during lockdown and used to actually just wake up to watch Liam Withnail do the crossword at 11 every day. That's what I was getting out of bed for. It was just it was my only routine was to do that, which was great.
What was it like being furloughed? That sounds
Class.
I worked in my kitchen. I worked throughout the full thing.
Because I was getting paid 80% of my wages and not spending anything really. Because I didn't have to go anywhere. Wasn't doing anything. Was buying alcohol when I was about. I was drinking too much.
I think everybody can admit
well,
that.
that's like I was also like running and working out every day as well. But I was like probably the fittest I've ever been, despite drinking the most I've ever drank. Occasionally put rum in a protein shake. You know, I was like, eventually I was like, I need to stop.
Do you remember your first time at the pub though?
Oh yeah.
Like after?
Yeah.
I mean, the drinks seemed a lot weaker.
Yeah.
And it was.
Yeah. I got really into making cocktails as well, so I was like.
So you're a stand-up as well, Ronnie?
Yes.
Do you remember your well, why did you get into it? What was your...
Well, I've always kind of loved stand-up. Always been a big fan of it. And always sort of had an idea that I'd want to try it. Never really thought about it much, but thought I'd like to give it a go at some point.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got into like podcasting for a few years. And then that eventually, like putting stuff out there, eventually I went, I've got enough confidence now to give it a go.
Mm-hmm.
When I was 27, I think, when I started.
Mm-hmm.
And then just went for it because it was something I've always been a fan of. And thought,
what age are you now?
32.
Oh, really? You've been doing it for that long, have you?
Yeah.
Not surprised. Like that came out wrong. But I bet you were locked down.
Yeah, well, a year and a half off.
Aye. What was that like then? Was it?
It was brutal. Because so April 2019 I started, so it was just under a year. And then just everything went away.
Is that when you're starting to find your feet and find your voice and
I was loving it. I was absolutely loving going out and gigging.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just to lose all that. It was like my outlet for a bit, and then just totally lost that. And feeling like I'd lost sort of all momentum that I was gaining as well. But I also feel like I came out better as well somehow. Feel like I came out having a better idea of what I wanted to do and how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was, just felt like a better comedian after.
So what was your first gig like back after lockdown? Was it just like starting again or?
No. It didn't feel like starting, but it probably felt as nervous as the first gig, but it was odd. So I'd done a couple online gigs, but they were like I just stopped doing them because they weren't the same.
You don't get
thing.
Yeah,
it was just it was like streaming to nobody. It was just like, why am I doing this? But so it was cool to be back, and it was like it was nerve-wracking, but once I was on the stage, it was like, that's great. Back
and at the ground running kind of thing.
Yeah.
Do you remember your first? Well, your first gig and then your first post-lockdown gig. Do you remember anything?
I remember my first gig, yeah. So it was at The Stand at Red Raw.
Really?
Yeah, which is a mad first gig to do. 200 people. But amazing.
Aye.
Really amazing.
You're not the first person to say that. I think Alan J.
Yeah.
If I remember right.
It's quite common to do that because I didn't know how to get gigs other than that one. And I'd heard, I'd been to Red Raw, I'd watched it, I knew how to sign up, but I didn't know about the open mics or anything like that. I didn't know any of that, so I just did that. They gave me a spot in 4 or 5 months. I started writing. So
yeah, my brother done the same. He done stand up before me, and his first gig was at Red Raw. But that's what you're saying as well. Like you get the time to kind of prepare for it and stuff like that. Do you remember your first joke?
Doesn't
even be the exact year.
Well, yeah. I remember bits of my first set. Some of it I still use occasionally.
No,
not in the same way. It's developed and it's got better. But I did have a bit of my first set about Superman. Which I just sort of remembered as we were talking about Superman. And it was about this. I was saying people when they find out I'm into comics, they say what superpower would you have if you could have any? And what I say is in 1963, this won't be right. Superman issue number 157. Superman had the power to create a miniature version of himself that flies out of his hand. I want that superpower. And it was it went on a bit after that. But that is true. Superman, is that a real thing? Yeah, as I said, back in the 50s and 60s, Superman would just do whatever. But yeah, he made a little miniature version of himself that flew out of his hand. I don't know why
or
what he did with it.
Do that?
Yeah, I can't remember. I have read that issue, but I can't remember what he does.
I'm just thinking perverted things though. That's the first thing, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, there must have been a reason, but I cannot tell you what that is.
Aye.
But yeah, so I had a bit about that. And it was people seem to like it, but then looking back on it, it was there's no punchlines in this. It was just it's just weird.
Just me talking about Superman.
Yeah.
Well, no, we've gave you the time.
Yeah.
So there is always the question, what would you rather do? Be able to fly or be invisible? This is kinda to do with Superman. But what would you rather do?
I'd want to be able to fly.
Aye.
Yeah. Be good. Especially if you could fly the speed of Superman can fly. You could get about pretty easily. Not rely on public transport.
Like in that film, is it the first Superman?
Yeah.
Does Lois Lane die?
Yes, yeah. So yeah, the end of that film is about.
It's a cop out.
So that, yeah, I think the writers of that film grew up with the comics that I was talking about, where they could do anything, because it was about that time where they had sort of revamped him into the 70s to sort of take him down a level a little bit. But yeah, so at the end of that film, he flies around the Earth so fast that it reverses time, and then is able to save everyone.
What?
Yeah, doesn't make a lot.
It was a good film. Yeah. I was meant to go on to talk about stand-up now, but this has just infuriated me. But it was a good film. But what? What?
I know. Yeah, I do agree with you. It's because I love that film. That is the sort of weak point of it, is that it sort of just falls down because it does have that sort of cop-out ending. Yeah. Second one also has a bit of that. Second one's also a great film, but in that one, Lois finds out that he is Superman, and at the end of it, he kisses her and wipes her memory. And it's
what? No.
It's just
so then. This is just annoying. Because, as I say, I've only seen the first one. Yeah, and John Ratzenberger was in it.
Yep,
with a cameo.
So he
Pixar cameos.
So that's in. So that was shot in, I think it's Elswood in London, where they also shot the Star Wars films, and he's in The Empire Strikes Back as well. So he must have just been working around London at the time. Yeah. Yes, yeah. He has some odd cameos.
It was weird, just and then it's there's fucking Cliff Cheers.
Yeah.
And it's in that film, Lex Luthor is oh, this guy's, is it Luthor? It feels
Yeah,
weird
they say
saying it like that.
Luthor,
Luthor.
Say Luthor, I think.
Aye, Luthor, that's fine.
Yeah.
Him and that Otis guy that used to be, it's like Laurel and Hardy.
Yeah.
It's very strange.
The sort of, yeah. I love Gene Hackman's performance as Lex Luthor, but again, they sort of took him down to a sort of silly level. This sort of, he's not really a threatening sort of character, I think, Luthor in those movies, but and they gave him a wacky sidekick, or two wacky sidekicks. There's the woman as well, Miss Tessmacher. And yeah.
Miss
And all he's kind of doing is a sort of like high stakes real estate scam. Which is not that impressive.
No. I mean, you don't want to bring up the obvious kind of real life comparison, so we're not going to, but it is like that.
yeah, 100%. There's a few things billionaires have done recently that are a bit Lex Luthor-esque.
Going to Mars and
Yeah.
threatening to give Taylor Swift babies. I don't think Lex Luthor ever done that, but
well,
give him time, aye.
Yeah. Lex Luthor also became president in the comics for a bit.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
So it's not just the Simpsons that can predict the future.
No.
There you go. Right. So I was just getting. We were meant to be doing like gigs and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and it just really.
No, yeah.
It just
Apologies,
really
I brought
me
up Superman
thinking
again. It was my fault. It's a recurring theme in my life. It's the ADHD, man. I just end up talking about Superman.
Do you think everybody in stand-up has got?
A lot are neurodivergent.
Yeah.
Yes, it's quite common. It's I guess it's.
I mean, I don't want you to get a tar folk with brushes and stuff like that. It's quite a generalisation.
I mean, obviously, a lot aren't as well.
Yeah.
But I think it is an art form that draws. I mean, most art forms do, I guess, but draws divergent people in. It's a compelling thing to want to do.
I think I've got ADHD. I mean, I think I've got every like, not ever, but I think I've got like every symptom. But I mean, if I go in to say right, you've got ADHD, what changes?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
I don't even take medication. I'm diagnosed, but I don't take medication or anything like that. But I just live with it. I just know what I need to do to sort of focus when I have to focus. And I mean, still smoke and drink too much coffee, which helps, but not anything else.
Have you always had it? Like at school and stuff like that? Aye.
Yeah. I didn't know. I got diagnosed when I was 30. So but yeah, it would have helped if I'd known then.
Aye.
Because I just thought I was lazy, But
did you underachieve? Were you one of these bright people that do it?
It was exactly like every report card I ever got. Yeah, it was obviously
try harder.
Smart but doesn't try, and that was that was it. If I'd known, I could have done something about it, but I probably wouldn't have done something about it.
By the way, I've got I know this is your time and stuff like that, but I've got a Glasgow International Comedy Festival show. Got my own one, and I've been struggling to come up with a name for it.
Right.
So there was a meme that went about that says there was a guy trying to get an LSA on Tinder, and he says, "Don't worry, I'm not a weirdo. I actually play for Motherwell."
All right. Aye.
And not a lot of people got that.
Yeah.
But now, speaking at the Roo, Must Try Harder.
That's good.
Could be a good name for a show.
Yeah. I like that, yeah. That works.
I'm right into that.
Yeah, go for it.
I'll need to.
Yeah, get him quick.
It's kind of come out on Friday now. I need to trademark that. Yeah. Aye. See, this is probably with the ADHD again, because then I've went off into something else. But no, that's there we go. I've got it.
Perfect.
I need to take
sorted.
So, speaking of that, have you got any kind of lined up your own show or anything? I know you done one at Tenants.
Yeah, I did Tenants last year. I'm doing Van Winkle West.
Oh, lovely.
I've named my show Mammal.
All right.
And I think, again, this is the idea of it, but it might not turn it because it's not written fully yet. But the idea being sort of talking about what sort of separates us from animals and what doesn't.
Right.
That's the idea of it. And I also like the idea, because I'm billed as Rory M. Spence all the time. I like the idea of starting show titles with the letter M. So that's what I'm going to try and do as a theme going forward. So mammal suited that, I think.
What does M stand for?
Martin.
All right, so it is actually.
Yeah. That
Is this your real name as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of people, it isn't their real names, and I've just found out a few people's real names. I'm like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah.
Obviously, I can't say.
I know, yeah.
But,
I know, I sometimes think maybe I should have used the stage name, but...
I mean, well, I've unintentionally used one, like
Really?
Al. Like,
Right. Do you not go by Al?
well, this is going to be a surprise to Crookie as well, but my name's Alistair.
Right.
And people call me Alex. Crookie calls me Alan. I was meant to bring this up off camera, Crookie. I'm sorry. I haven't been called everything under the sun. Like I was taking somebody home, and it come up on my thing saying Alistair's iPhone. It's like, Alan, why is your phone? But I've unintentionally come up with a stage name because nobody knows what my real name is. But they do know.
Nice
so
one. Yeah.
spoiled it.
It's out there.
Yeah. Clark Kented myself, took my glasses off.
That's it.
See?
There you go.
We're back on track. So when is your show? Because nobody can start doing this. Nobody can start to plug everything.
It's all sorted now as well. I've paid for everything. So.
Oh, have you? You need to show me how to do that.
I spent hours on Eventron. But it's the 30th, Sunday the 30th, last day of the festival.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Is that March? 30th of March?
30th of March, yeah. Sorry, I should say the month. 4:30 Van Winkle, West End.
I think that's where we done ours last year when it was 2.5
good
days. RIP. Aye, it is. Is it? Is Ross?
Ross Leslie, yeah.
Good guy, man.
Yeah.
So what you do? Like, how are you working your show? Like, I need to. Because what I'm thinking is, originally I thought I need to write a brand new hour, and it's like,
No, you don't.
no, because it's like, who do you think I am? You know?
Well, that's it. Unless you're doing the Fringe every year and stuff like that, you don't need to do that.
Aye.
And you're releasing specials every year, then you don't need to do it. You know what I mean? It's
Peter Kay released 2 DVDs with the same jokes on it. I mean, to be fair, released the full career with the same jokes on it.
Yeah.
I love Peter Kay, though, sorry. But it was. I did kind of put myself under pressure. It was like, I need to write a brand new hour.
Yeah.
It's like, no,
you don't.
I really don't. I think I've got a good kind of 20, maybe, well, a good 20, maybe can stretch that to 40. I know it's a big difference, but see, when you get into it and stuff like that, it does go in quicker than you think.
Yeah. That's it.
But
I always have a weird problem in stand-up. It seems to be the opposite of a lot of people's problems, where I will run short a lot of the time.
Right.
I don't know why. It's just when I time stuff out, I don't time it well enough and end up a bit short and have to throw something in at the end. But that happens to me more than going over.
Aye. I mean, a day kind of. Sometimes I can run short, but it's my memory more than anything.
Yeah.
But I always try to keep like 1 or 2 things in my head, and it's like, I can use this if I want.
Yeah.
But I don't need to use it.
Yeah.
And it's playing to the room as well. That's kind of really
Definitely.
You were. I don't want to say support. You were on the show that I done it in Newt Hill Club,
I was supporting.
and it was fantastic. Like,
Yeah.
it's one of my
That was a
favourite
great
sets
one,
I've seen. You do.
Thank you.
It was incredible. So
That was good fun. That. It was,
aye, it was. The Newt Hill Club is very kind of run down. Like, I used to go there when I was of age, I think. Aye. Nothing's changed.
Really?
Aye, in a bad way. Sometimes you say that, and it's like, but it's like, surely you can upholster a settee.
Yeah. It was good. It was good room though. It was well set up for stand up and everything.
It
like
was.
That. It was.
It did seem. I mean, the other one I do in Newt Hill, I don't know. I think that's coming to an end.
Really?
I think it's ran its course.
Yeah.
There's tellies. There's football every night.
Yeah.
It's no built for stand up, but I think
Yeah.
having it for that long is quite impressive.
Yeah,
I'm quite
definitely.
chuffed to run it that long. And
Running a gig is not something I want to do at all. So
have you
the
never
fact
done it? No.
No. Almost did once, and then it sort of fell through with the venue, and I was like, okay, good.
Aye.
I don't want to do it.
I think it's a good way to kind of get your name out there and kind of like get like talking to people that you would never usually
definitely
talk to. And
that, like that. The one thing I wanted to do that for was to host more, because I want to get that sort of skill up. So I've not done a huge amount of hosting. I've done a handful, but I would like to do more of it.
I think it was alright kind of hosting there, but like fair dues, you're going to get that. It's going to be people that are there every week, that are there every month, that you do the show. So you can't be saying to them, "What is it you do for a living?"
Yep.
It's like, "I run the pub," and it's like,
Yeah,
I'm paying you at the end of this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there was a few times I said this in the other podcast, an IP, but twice that I had done it, there was celebrities had died.
Oh,
So the first month I done it, Tina Turner died,
right.
who's famous for singing "Simply the Best,"
Yeah.
Rangers anthem. And then the next month I done it, Sinead O'Connor died,
Right.
and I said that's one each. And that's honestly probably the best I done hosting with that.
I think I was there when Tina Turner died. I think I was on that
Oh
one.
yeah,
I remember talking about that at the time.
that would have made, because she died like as I was on stage. I got a BBC News alert through my phone saying Tina Turner's away.
Yeah, I think I was on that one.
I saw a video with Ike Turner recently. He's not a nice man at all.
No.
We're saying to him, "What did you like? Why were you so bad to Tina Turner?" It's like, sometimes she just needed help. It's like, well, obviously didn't say that, but that was Sean Connery. Have you seen Sean Connery's one?
Yeah,
It's okay to strike a woman as long as you don't do it with a closed fist. Like, it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, he wasn't a good guy either.
And he also rented his hotel he's got, and what's the hotel in Edinburgh that he's got the room in?
Oh yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
Balmore, I'm going to say Balmore.
one of the fancy
Bar
ones.
or something.
Yeah.
He rented that to J.K. Rowling to finish the last Harry Potter
Oh,
book.
really?
So
Fuck him.
if he would wanted to hit any woman, we'd don't hit women.
Yeah, don't hit women.
Oh, see, I always say it. We'll try and keep it. Nice.
Yeah, you did say we weren't going to say anything
I
controversial.
know. I kind of started speaking about my socks, and then we just kind of went downhill a bit for there.
That's it. It's life.
So, let's see your favourite gig that you've done, or favourite gig that you've done more than once. Like, I'm always going to say, I'll let you think about it. Like, as much as there were crazy gigs, salsa, I miss salsa so much.
Yeah, salsa, like I've had some of my worst gigs in salsa, I've had some of my favourite in salsa.
And some of them are the same.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's a few gigs I love it. Like, obviously, like Red Raw at the Stand, especially the Glasgow one, is always just electric. But so like Drygate, Comedy Lab, love that one. Cross My Laugh, always had a good time there. They're always just really good audiences, and always like comedy fans that come to them, which is great. It's like because they understand what's happening. They know
it makes a massive
they understand
difference.
comedy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Which sounds snobby, I guess, but performing to comedy fans is a lot different to performing to guys in a pub who didn't know there was a gig on.
Aye. That was a dig, wasn't it?
No.
It's
not
so
intend that. I mean, you know that yourself.
Aye, I know.
And your gig was despite that, was great. I did have a good time. I did that twice and did have a good time. Because I love that as well. That's one of my favourite things. See, when you walk into a gig and you think this is going to be shit,
aye,
and then it's not.
Aye,
they're the best gigs. If a gig has no right to be good, and then it is, it's just so much better than knowing it's going to be good.
Well, was it Mikey done the last one? Well, the last one, we'll say. And he says that these are the gigs that make you.
Yeah.
And as much as you think, that's good that it serves a purpose.
Yeah.
I don't want it to be, I want
you want it to be one where
themselves.
people come and have the time of their life.
Aye.
Yeah.
But hands are tied a bit with the room,
of course,
and all that kind of stuff.
And you made it as good as it could have been. Like, genuinely, for that room, it could not have been a better gig.
Oh, thanks, man. I'd said to the guys, it was Steve McLeod was the headline that Mikey opened it. A couple of Graham Stewart, Jay Lynch, in the middle. What? What are you doing? You just can easily headline this, and you wanted middle spots. And I'd be like,
that's great.
But you're on after.
What a lineup.
And they were saying, no, keep going, mate, keep going. It's as soon as I get there to leave, I'm just sitting like knuckles, like white knuckling it for full time. Yeah. Because I don't get to enjoy it.
Yeah.
And it's I've said to him, like, I could get like guest hosts in and stuff like that, because some maybe just needs a bit of kind of rejig, a bit of spruce up to get somebody else in to take care of it for a while. But I mean, I loved picking out a lineup. Like, that was my favourite bit. Yeah. Just the folk. I've had Raymond Mearns in New Hill.
Amazing. Yeah.
Were you on that night? No.
I was.
You were heavy.
Down. I've done it twice. I'm trying to remember who was headlining first. It was Obi last time.
Oh, were you on Obi's with me?
Yeah.
That wasn't that long ago, too.
No.
Oh, that's right, because I said I want to get you on so Gail can see you.
Aye,
and then
that's
you met,
right.
Gail,
yeah. That was a weird one. There was a weird guy heckling a couple of times.
Oh, he's always there.
Aye,
he was there again, just screaming. But Steve McCloy, he just dealt with him brilliantly.
Aye, he's good at that.
And so did Graham Stewart. Like, he done like a magic trick on that.
Aye,
it was proper insane. But
saw Graham Stewart once put the mic while he was hosting, put the mic in the stand and walk an audience member out the door himself once. It was incredible.
I don't think I'd ever be able to do that, which is why I don't think I'm too nice. Like, yeah. I can't be
like that was like Graham's really nice, and he was so nice about that. There was a guy complaining he wasn't getting served at the bar because he was hammered, and he was like shouting about it while Graham was like trying to introduce the next act. Graham just put the mic in the stand, walked up to him, and went, "Come on outside," and just took him out. It's incredible.
But like, seeing the people, like, that's one of the great things about doing this as well, is getting to see people for none.
Yeah.
Like,
oh yeah, that's my favourite part. I think of this like free comedy. It's amazing.
Like, as I say, getting Raymond. I saw Raymond again. I've done Dram. Have you done Dram yet? Jackie Logan's gig?
No, I've not done it. But I've done Dram when there's been other gigs on, but I've not done it. Yeah.
But that was incredible. He headlined that as well. Wow. And he walked in as I was kind of just starting my set. Yeah. I'm like, oh fuck, I need to block him out, because he's somebody like everybody. If you're on the stage, you look up to Raymond Mearns.
Yeah, definitely.
You never see him do the same set.
Yeah. He doesn't like.
He's not got a set in it.
No. I've seen him do the same sort of like stories a couple of times, but even then they're pulled a different way. He'll talk to a member of the audience and then just like go off of what they said and just comedy gold out of whatever he's talking about.
A guy, when he done mine, he asked the guy where it is he worked, and he says he worked with skips, and he done 20 minutes on skips.
He's also one of the smartest people in the world. He has a knowledge base of pretty much everything. He can just talk about anything for an extended period of time and make it funny.
I mean, it's just kind of two nobody chuckleheads talking about Raymond Mearns, but like, you're wanting to say to folk, go and see Raymond Mearns, but he doesn't need it. If you've seen Raymond, you know all about him. So we're nearing the end.
Wow.
I know.
It's flown in.
Really is. So this is your time. I know I kind of gave you the chance anyway to plug yourself.
Yeah.
Towards the end, and I'll put links up and stuff like that.
Yeah. Cool. So I just social media. I post most gigs on Instagram. So at Rory Spence on Instagram. A few clips on TikTok as well. Trying to get into that.
I'm so bad at that, man.
Yeah, it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare.
Right.
But yeah, I'm doing that. So yeah, just follow there, and the Classical Comedy Festival show 30th of March.
4 p.m.
4:30.
Oh god.
4:30.
What an awful host. This is how I'm getting up with gigs as well.
So and again, yeah, links will be on my social media for that when the tickets go up, which should hopefully be soon, because everyone, as I said, is paid for.
Aye.
registered.
Aye, if you need to show me. Seriously, you need to show me do that. But no, perfect, man. Superman
Cool.
and everything in between with Rory Spence.
Cool.
Thank you very much, and I'll see you when I see you. Bye.